But if we realize that our ideas are strong and powerful, we can stand nearby one another. Even if we don't stand together, we can stand nearby one another because we understand that those kinds of things should be defended. Not because we need each other, because the Übermensch doesn't need anybody or anything. That's part of what it is to be that. But it's to be able to choose, to make those choices. And to be able to stand outside and to like it. And to be able to say, thank God for the choice. So what's wrong with murder?
So, taking someone's life without a just cause.
Okay. So what would be a just cause for killing a person?
For me, I believe in eye for an eye. So basically, it's a circle. If someone murders my family member, or does something against my family member, I'll kill them.
Sure. Well, understand that eye for an eye is not a proscription. It's a limitation. Oftentimes we'll say that, kind of like, why would you attack that person? Hey man, eye for an eye. Eye for an eye doesn't mean that person takes your eye, therefore you take their eye. It's a limitation. They take your eye, you can only take their eye. You can't take both of their eyes. Someone takes one of your eyes, you can't take both of their eyes. You're only allowed to take what they took from you. One eye from you, therefore one eye from them. So morals, we don't allow murder. What else do we not allow because of our morals? Rape. What else? Cheating. Yeah, rape, cheating. Things like, what's that?
Trespassing.
Trespassing. A lot of people trespass. That's right up there with murder and, yeah. And by the way, it kind of is, because one of the things about trespass is you have to make sure that the people who are around you are people who are supposed to be around you. Okay, good. So, good enough so far. So now if we're looking at the purpose of morals, then, is to do what? Why do we have them?
To constrain.
To constrain behavior. You have to limit people to constrain behavior. So now, he's saying that morality is herd instinct. So what is a herd? A group.
A group of sheep.
And why do people form groups?
Protection.
Protection. So now we're starting to get somewhere. We can see, therefore, that a herd is designed specifically to protect. So who joins the herd? People who need protection. So therefore, morals are designed to protect. So if you need protection, you join a herd. So far, so good. Okay, so this is what he's getting at. Who joins the herd? People who need protection. But understand that when you join a herd, and you can think of a herd not necessarily as like a bunch of buffalo walking across your grass. Society itself is a herd. Civilization is a herd. We form herds inside of cities because we understand that if we work collectively, we can get more done. If we're not working collectively, then we're out in nature and we're killing each other over resources. But if we can work together, we can kill other groups for resources rather than other individuals, which is what war essentially amounts to. So, but understand that when you join a group, now you have to limit yourself. So let's say that you're somebody who you just really like murdering people. You can't do that anymore. Once you join a group, once you join a herd, you're no longer allowed to do that. You have to give up part of who you are, part of your freedoms. Now, of course, it's probably a good thing to give up murder, rape, cheating, and trespass. Probably good parts of ourselves to give up. But there are other parts of yourself that you have to give up if you join kind of like lesser herds. So for example, let's say that, you join the Democratic Party, but you're against abortion. But you need to give that up because it's part of the Democratic platform to be pro-abortion. If, let's say that you are in favor of abortion, but you're a Republican, you have to give that up because it's part of the Republican platform to be against abortion. To join any political party. No political party is going to have all of your same ideas over and over again. It's going to be yes, no, but you need to get rid of all that yes, no. It's just, yes, you're part of this group. Why? Because you need to be because you need to stand in solidarity with us. That's how we gain power, together. If we have different views and we're split up, we can't maintain power. So therefore, we have to stay together as a form of protection. And so if you're somebody who particularly needs protection, well, then yeah, I guess that makes sense. You join the herd. But that also means now that morality is like that too. Who needs protection from murder?
Everyone?
Who's that?
Everyone?
Not me. Right? Do I look like I need your protection? I probably have more guns than you have fingers.
Prisoners?
Prisoners? Oh, they're there in the first place. I mean, they kind of got caught, and so maybe they need protection from there. So they're in a weakened state. Yeah, if you need protection against murder, it's probably because you're weak. It's probably because you need somebody to protect you because you can't protect yourself. So in that kind of a scenario, I guess it makes sense to join the herd. Like with anything else, if you don't feel like you have any political power, that you feel like you're politically weak, well then yeah, you have to join a herd. Herds are for people who are weak. Sheep form herds. But we intuitively understand that there's something that's powerful about the individual. The individual is the one who stands by themselves. The herd is the one who has to kind of collectively form up together. And this is why we do it, because we recognize that to join the herd, you have to be weak. And then you feel like you're strong. But in doing so, you gain the power, but you lose the individuality as well. You are no longer you. Again, let's say that you have, and like I said earlier with regards to joining a political party, you have to give up some of those things that you believe in, and that means that you have to give up part of yourself. And that means that the you who is real will never formally manifest. You will never get to exist. What exists instead is like a watered down, kind of bastardized form of you, not the real you who would normally express itself in the world. And so, so you lose that individuality, but you gain some kind of power. But it's not your power; it's our power. Right, comrades? And this is kind of the essence of communism. This is the founding doctrine of it. The whole world's against you. It's a terrible place. We need to form up to come together. What if I agree with like 99 out of 100 of the things that you're in favor of? You disagree with one of them? Yeah, kill them. Why? Because that's an existential threat now to us. We can only have people who are completely with us. And then we start to believe that kind of thing, by the way. We start to act out that kind of thing. But there's another, again, an alternative, and that's the individual. It's the person who Nietzsche calls the Übermensch. Yeah, big German word.
Superman.
Yeah, the Superman. The word Uber means over, or like big, like powerful, you see think of. And then Mensch, man. So you have the Übermensch, the person who stands outside of these judgments of good and evil. Meaning that in this case here, how do you arrive at what's good and evil? You're told what's good and evil. Well, what if I disagree? Well, then you go to prison. We don't agree with you. So we kind of just have to adopt whatever it is that the herd is saying. And of course, the herd has every intention of trying to bring you in because the people who form up the herd are weak, especially against the individual who's powerful and strong. The Übermensch is the person who comes along and establishes their own value system. You might come to the same conclusion that murder is wrong, rape is wrong, cheating is wrong, trespass is wrong, but you're choosing. But the only way you can actually choose to do that is to separate yourself from the herd. That means that you have to separate yourself from the protection. That means you have to separate yourself from the solidarity. And by the way, that means you may have to separate yourself from your friends and your family as well. Because those are examples of even smaller herds. Like you've heard that thing before, I'm sure many of you probably even live by this. If your friend is wrong about something, I wonder how many of you back your friend up anyway. And what do we call that, by the way, when you back up your friends even if they're wrong?
Loyalty?
They call it cowardice, but yeah, loyalty. Here we go. Yeah, sorry, I almost said the wrong word. Yeah, loyalty. Yeah, it's not cowardice. It's not because I don't have the guts to tell my friend the truth. No. I reframed that weakness as a virtue. I'm loyal. Yeah. Anybody against loyalty? No, that's right, man. Loyalty. My family, right or wrong. What if your family's a bunch of assholes? Doesn't matter. My family, right or wrong. My tribe. Why? Because I'm weak, and I need their protection. I don't have the guts to stand up to them. I don't have the guts to develop my own value system. I don't have the guts to go into solitude and live away from society. Because remember, if you're going to live apart from society, you need to either be a beast or a god. Here's the third option, by the way. You could also be both, a beast and a god, which is to say you could become a philosopher. So we'll reframe this weakness. What it really is, we won't tell our friends the truth. If your friend's being an asshole and you don't tell them the truth, it's because you're afraid of losing the friend. And if you lose the friend, that means you've lost a little sliver of protection. You no longer have that support, that backup. But what happens if I find myself under attack at some point? I'm going to need to have people around me. Yeah, if you're weak and you can't defend yourself, of course you need to have people around you. So that means you have to compromise part of who you are. Yes, my friend is cheating on his girlfriend, and I see it happening. I know he's doing it. He brags to me about it, but I won't tell him not to do it. I won't tell him what I think about it because I'm afraid that he's not going to be my friend anymore. So I just sit there and go, yeah, good for you, whatever. And then, of course, that damages you on a whole bunch of other levels. Now that makes it impossible for you to ever have a meaningful, intimate relationship as well. Because now you're getting it filled with your head that everybody does that. So now you start to think everybody else is doing it. It damages your view of the world. But forget about all of that. Be loyal. We'll reframe a vice and we'll call it a virtue. And this is what the herd does. The herd takes terrible behavior and then they reframe it as a virtue. And then they take real virtues and then they reframe them as being vices. So the Übermensch, what are they? Well, they're an individual. Oh, so they're anti-collective, yeah. You're selfish. That's what it is, you're selfish. No, I'm an individual. No, you're just selfish. You don't care about anybody, do you? Man, you're a horrible person. Because that's all that the herd has. All that the herd has is name-calling and ostracization. And if you're a person who's an individual, you can stand that. Because then when the herd casts you out and they no longer accept you, that's fine because you're strong. You can stand on your own. That doesn't mean you're not lonely, by the way, and that's the trade-off. Because if you're going to be who you really are, how many of yous are there in the world? How many yous are there in the universe?
One.
Just one. Just one. How many herds are there? Lots of us. There's 7 billion people on the planet right now, or 8 billion people on the planet right now. So if you can join the herd, you can be part of 8 billion people. Or separate yourself from the herd, and you can be part of just one. But that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. You know? The herd is always going to want to preserve itself. It's always going to want to reframe these things as virtues. Actually, they're really terrible things. You know? I think what you may find in life is that a true friend is someone who stabs you in the front. That's the person who's willing to tell you what you're doing is terrible. Why? Not just because of morality, true, but what's wrong with people behaving this way? What's wrong with murder? What's wrong with rape and cheating and trespass? What's wrong with these things is that they stop you from becoming what you otherwise could become. They stop you from being what you otherwise could become. If you're somebody who cheats oftentimes in relationships, that makes it impossible for you to form a real deep, intimate relationship with somebody. Because if you're cheating, what else is going on? Probably. Maybe. I'm sure of it, right? Nah, yeah, probably. They're cheating too, right? Because that would justify my behavior. Yeah, I'm doing it because, but then that makes it impossible for you to form a real, loving relationship with somebody. That damages you. That makes it impossible for you to become what you could become. That's why you stab a friend in the front, when they ask you to, of course. Because you don't want to go running around giving advice to everybody. Because if you do that, then that's also pretty arrogant. Because that means that you think you have the answers for everything. But if the person asks you, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth in such a way that allows them to become what they possibly could become. Because remember, part of being the individual is becoming strong, independent, able to live in solitude, come to your own value system, stand up against the herd, powerful. You can't do those things if everyone's, not even if everyone, if people around you are lying to you about who you are and what you are. And yet we have to do that in order to maintain part of being part of the herd. Yeah.
If loyalty is like that, then what is true loyalty? I refrain from doing a bunch of stuff. But
Good question. So what's real loyalty? Loyalty to ideas. Like I'm a person, like, have you ever encountered something like an idea or even a concept like beauty and encountered something that's just so powerful that it affects you more than something physical? You ever encountered beauty that affects you physically?
yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't, man, I hope someday you do. You know, like I'm a person who, like for me, the separation between, this dichotomy between thinking and feeling has been completely erased. I'm a person who can fall in love with an idea. An idea can even make me sick because you realize that your feelings and your thinking need to come together. Your feeling tells you, can start to point you in the direction of what's right and wrong, sure, but the thinking is the thing that kind of weeds it out. So your loyalty has to be to your value system. You know, murder is wrong. Hey, let's go kill this person. No. Why? Murder is wrong. Dude, are you part of us or not? Not. No, I'm not. I'm not part of any group. Oh, well, then get the fuck away from us, man. Then you can even become a target yourself because you refuse to follow the herd. But again, the herd is only strong when they're together, which means they're really weak. They're just a swarm of gnats that can be swiped away most of the time. You see this happen online all the time. This is why online activists think, will come after somebody because they'll be powerful online, and then they can do something horrible to you. They can call you names, and we none of us want to have people call us names. That would just be, my God. What if someone called me something that wasn't true? What if someone came up here and said, looks at me and goes, "You're Santa Claus"? Well, my God, that could ruin my life. Yeah.
Those groups are like a paradox. So they hate like groups, but they make their own groups as well.
They make their own group. That's the thing. They love a group. And they love groups not just for themselves, but for everybody else as well. Because as soon as I can identify you as a group, you're a Muslim, aren't you? You know those guys do, don't you? Now I have to actually get to know him on a personal level to find out like the stuff that you were saying last time about bastardization of religions. And you're talking about individuals and standing for peace. Nah, you're a Muslim. That's so much easier to do, to just categorize people. And then that way I can say that's how all these people are, all those people are. But to actually take time to get to know a person as an individual, first off, it presupposes that a person can be an individual. The people we're talking about right now, they don't believe that people can be individuals. They believe that people are only products of their social structures and their environments. They reject the idea of individuality. Of course they reject the idea of individuality. You can't be that. That doesn't exist. I'm right here. You can't possibly be that. So they want to force you into a group. Because a group allows protection for you, it also allows a target for somebody else. If you're part of this group, I can attack you because you're not an individual. You're part of this group. This is why identity politics is such a failure at a moral level. So that goes down to the question about what we should be loyal to. So now, how can I possibly be loyal to you? Out of curiosity, are you ethically against murder?
Yes.
Okay, good. Are you ethically against rape and cheating and trespass? Okay. Then it looks like we have loyalty then, because we share these same ideas. We can stand strong in that. Have you ever noticed how other people are not against that stuff? It's weird, huh? So you come together with other people who are similarly minded, and that doesn't mean again that you form another group. What it means is that iron sharpens iron. You test each other's ideas. These things are always under attack. Like, what is it that you believe? Well, whatever it is that the individual comes to believe, well, you challenge it. Because if it's a really strong idea, it can stand up to scrutiny. If it's a weak idea, then we can't allow it to be challenged. That's why the herd doesn't allow people to question things. They won't even have conversations a lot of times because they understand that they're weak and that they can't stand up to it. Intuitively, at least, unconsciously. But if we realize that our ideas are strong and powerful, we can stand nearby one another. Even if we don't stand together, we can stand nearby one another because we understand that those kinds of things should be defended. Not because we need each other, because the Übermensch doesn't need anybody or anything. That's part of what it is to be that. But it's to be able to choose to make those choices. And to be able to stand outside and to like it. And to be able to say, thank God for the choice of being able to be an individual rather than having to be part of a group. Questions? Comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Happy Friday.